I will say because of the unprecedented availability of federal funding, Baltimore has done better than could have been imagined otherwise, quite frankly. We have a resource infusion to ensure that our public safety apparatus is better positioned to be effective in solving crime, which I know is at the forefront of so many people's minds, ensuring that there's more, not just practical tools like license plate readers, for example, but also more coordination across every level of government, from the state to the county to the city. Because as we know, crime crosses boundaries and we need to be nimble and able to address that. And we need the resources and able to do that. Another, part of it is ensuring that even where people are working, the police precincts and the fire department, halls that people are working in, that they're suitable to providing quality customer service to our residents. And customer service is what all our residents deserve. And quite frankly, sometimes we haven't always had the technology and or the infrastructure to provide the quality, particularly across our public safety apparatus. So I'm very encouraged to see the infusion of funds that are available for the crime fight, but also to ensure that the people who are working hard to protect us and to also to keep us safe, like our firefighters and our police officers, are able to do that with adequate equipment. Another thing that I'm particularly excited about is just now we were able to pass a bill that will allow our violence interruption workforce. These are people that work with organizations like Safe Streets and other organizations that often have feast and famine when it comes to funding. One of my bills, House Bill 1005, allows them to be able to bill Medicaid for their funds. It's not enough for us to say that crime is a public health problem. We need to create the infrastructure to actually address it as such. So this is something that puts Maryland at the vanguard of really putting some teeth around addressing crime as a public health problem.
So you're saying that Safe Streets or violence interrupting organizations will be able to get money through Medicaid?
Yeah, so what this bill does is it creates a community violence professional credential, because you have to have some type of credential in order for Medicaid to recognize what you're billing for. So this will require the state to create that training program, license it, and then thereby equipping people who already do this work to have an opportunity to professionalize further what they're already doing. And quite frankly, the sustainability of these types of efforts are usually depending on whatever the budgetary realities are. If they're able to help someone that has been the victim of violent crime gain services and to prevent, let's be frank, a lot of this is payback. It's not always what someone's done to you. It's what they did to your family member, a friend, or someone else. We have to interrupt this cycle of community violence. And the people best poised to do it are people who understand their communities because they live there, and also understand the kind of situations that people find themselves in because they found themselves in it in the past.
And can you talk to any other specific bills aimed at reducing violence in Baltimore? Can you just talk a little bit about those? I know we talked about ghost guns and that, getting.
Oh my gosh, that was a huge one. I know that in the past I addressed your audience about the fact that ghost guns have been increasing in usage. And quite frankly, it makes it hard for people to solve those crimes when you have untraceable firearms. So because the Biden administration through ATF has created more of a mechanism for addressing these types of guns as actual firearms, we were able in Maryland to ban them. And that's something that's going to be really instrumental in the crime fight. And in fact, I believe that the sponsor of that bill was at the White House today because it was being celebrated nationally as something that we're doing right here in Maryland. Also, I know that there's going to be a lot of efforts to better coordinate. There's bills to better coordinate communication around those who are out that have a warrant out for their arrest but have not been apprehended. Sometimes there is a communications disconnect between those that are now released and those that have warrants out for them, and making sure that every member of the law enforcement apparatus knows the movements in real time so that we can better anticipate if there's going to be a potential, criminal or crime event. And I think that some of this stuff, it might be kind of unsexy, but the better we have our systems interacting with one another. I don't think we want people just reacting to crime. We want to be able to be better positioned to prevent it in the first place. So that is something that I'm hearing from our law enforcement partners in the city, that they are looking forward to having better resources and support around that communication.